Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw 3-hour tour, just like Gilligan's Island. Again this week. But first, before I do the Raw results and the Superstar spoilers, 2 matches, some brief news. Santino Marella commented on his return to WWE, writing on Twitter by saying, "By the way, next Monday I'm cleared to wrestle again. Fingers crossed, but so much stuff going on with hashtag WrestleMania 29, so we'll see." Unquote. Roman Reigns also commented on the attack to Big Show tonight, writing on Twitter, "That's how you send a giant message. Hashtag Raw, hashtag Believe in the Shield, hashtag finish the fight." Unquote. The Bella Twins commented on their WWE return on Monday's Raw, writing on Twitter as well, "We're back. Hashtag Raw. Hashtag Bellas are back. Hashtag Bella Twins." Big Show will guest star on this week's episode of Psych at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central Time on the USA Network. You can check out a preview of the episode in the video, or you can go to usanetwork.com and look for it. As noted earlier this week, The Rock will not be at tonight's Raw from Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. He is in Seoul, South Korea, attending the G.I. Joe 2 premiere and doing press for the movie. Reality star turned pro wrestling personality Johnny Fairplay, a.k.a. John Dalton, turned 39 years old. He was born March 11th, 1974. Follow him on Twitter at twitter.com, Johnny Fairplay. I missed sending him a happy birthday, because he's one of my friends on Twitter. Nikita Koloff, born Nelson Scott Simpson, celebrated his 54th birthday on Saturday. He was born March 9th, 1959. Koloff and his daughter will be featured on the Lifetime television show Preacher's Daughter, beginning tomorrow night. Former WWE diva Melina Perez turned 34 on Saturday. She was born on March 9th, 1979. Rick Steiner, a.k.a. Rob Rick Steiner, turned 53 on Saturday. He was born on March 9th, 1961. Former WWE wrestler Tiger Ali Singh, a.k.a. Gurjit Singh Hans, turned 30 on Saturday. He was born on March 9th, 1973. I think that's the brother. No, Tiger Ali. No, I've forgotten who he is. The following matches were listed for this week's airing on ESPN Classic for AWA. The Barbarian and Bruiser Brody versus Gladiator and Hernandez. Pistol Pete versus Brad Rennigans. Stevens versus Red. Mike Rotunda, IRS, versus Doug Summers. The 30-minute classic UWF television show airs on ESPN Classic tonight. Aired on ESPN Classic tonight. And I missed it at 9:30 p.m. Well, because I was trying to search the internet in the hotel office, because it has none outside the office in the hotel rooms. Well, with Pistol Paz Watley versus Vladimir Koloff was listed as the main event. Nothing else. TNA released the preview above the one night only X-travaganza pay-per-view special, which I finally got the date of April 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, so 7 p.m. Central Time. And TNA has posted footage of Jeff Hardy being helped to the back following his match with Bully Ray at last night's Lockdown pay-per-view. At the link at vine.co/v/BWJP that's capital O, capital A, 2 P1 LU. Looks like an L. Yep, that's an L. Okay, Aces and Eights member Mike Knox will be going by the name of Nooks in TNA now. Another former TNA Knockout has apparently turned down an offer to return to the upcoming Knockouts Only pay-per-view taping, Roxy. We've noted how Tracy Brooks and Awesome Kong and Angelina all have turned down the offers. So, I guess they ain't getting paid enough. TNA had a few fans planted in the crowd at last night's lockdown pay-per-view to begin throwing trash at aces and eights, and to get the crowd actually involved in it as well. After the Bully Ray heel turn, the feeling was once their plants started throwing trash, the rest of the crowd would follow as they did. Matches taped tonight from Indianapolis, Indiana, which you've all been waiting for. Two matches for superstars: JTG versus Zack Ryder, R-Truth versus Michael McGillicuddy. And everybody knows by now, Bella Twins made their return on WWE on tonight's Raw segment with Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow. It appears that they will be siding with Rhodes colors for the time being. Nikki and Brie are told Divas champion, half told Divas champion Caitlyn that the Divas division has never needed them so bad. And there's a photo on Ringside News and also I think ProWrestling.net for their picture. And here's the Superstars results. R-Truth defeated Michael McGillicuddy with Little Jimmy at ringside. Yep, supposedly here. If you can see him, let me know. Zack Ryder defeated JGG with the Rough Rider. That's the ultimate battle of the WWE jobbers. Huh? What do you think? Jobber. And now we're all live from the USA Network from Indianapolis, Indiana. Bankers Life Field House. Show opens with a wide shot from inside the arena. Justin Roberts asked the fans to rise as they paid respects to Paul Bearer. The lights go out in the arena, and then they showed a video package airing with the clips of Bearer and comments from the talent. The video concluded with an old clip of Undertaker saying "Rest in peace," and the two of them in the ring together. The fans applauded the video, and then Undertaker's gong sounded. Taker made his usual ring entrance. The urn was set up in the middle of the ring on a small stand. Taker entered the ring and looked down at the urn. Taker knelt down and held his hand up, and the memorial graphic of Bearer appeared on the screen. As I was watching it live myself on Raw, Taker looked down at the urn, and my cable / satellite feed from the hotel goes out. And it comes back on, and CM Punk's entrance is interrupting, and Taker's like, "You have to interrupt now?" And we got Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler chimed in on commentary. Lawler said it was the most disrespectful thing he's ever seen. Punk told the fans to simmer down because he thinks they misunderstood why he came out. Punk said that he wanted to personally extend his heartfelt condolences and his apologies for Taker's loss at WrestleMania. Swerve. Punk said the silver lining in all of this is that Taker will always be a perfect 20-0 to Paul Bearer. He said that in 4 weeks Taker will be 20-1. Punk said there won't be any heartfelt tribute to Paul Bearer the night after WrestleMania. Punk said 50 years from now, grandchildren will be asking fans where they were when Punk beat the Streak. Taker stared at Punk from the ring and never spoke. Cole said that there were no words. He hyped Seth Rollins versus Big Show for after the break. A backstage shot of Big Show aired walking with an unidentified man. Highlights aired from during the commercial break. Pyro going off on the stage and Kane coming out. Kane grabbed Punk and tried to chokeslam him off the stage, but Punk slipped away. Backstage, Kane threw a fit while searching for Punk. He entered two locker rooms and threw one wrestler over a table. It looked like Alex Riley because of the tattoo on his back. And another wrestler went to his aid after Kane left. So we get the first match, Big Show versus Seth Rollins with Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose at ringside. Footage aired of the Shield attacking Big Show after Raw concluded last week. Show threw Rollins through the ropes onto Ambrose. Show grabbed Reigns by the neck and threw him into the guardrail. Shield members regrouped and started a 3-on-1 attack, but Show kicked Reigns off and charged at him. Show got the better of the Shield members briefly, He caught Rollins by the throat as he jumped off the top rope and prepared to choke slam him, but Reigns caught Show with a spear. The trio picked up Show and slammed him down with the triple bomb. Again, they had problems lifting him up. The Shield stood over Show as Cole said, "The hounds of justice are upon us." Big Show defeated Seth Rollins by an apparent DQ in 40 seconds. Well, I like that Randy Orton and Sheamus didn't run out to make the save. Show is still a heel, and it would have been too soon for them to do that, given the way that he's taken shots at both of them in recent weeks. A good segment with Show looking like a giant while the Shield looked strong due to the numbers advantage. Backstage segment, CM Punk asked Vicky Guerrero and Brad Maddox who was in charge. He complained about Kane coming after him. Vicky said Punk disrespected the memory of Paul Bearer. She said Punk would face Kane in a no DQ match later on the show. And Punk says, "No, I'm not," nervously, and he stormed out of the room. The announcer spoke briefly about Punk versus Kane match. Daniel Bryan made his ring entrance. Highlights aired from SmackDown of Daniel Bryan and AJ taking verbal jabs at one another. Coleslaw said that Bryan would face Dolph Ziggler after the break as they go to commercial. Back for the commercial, and a Remembering Paul Bearer graphic was shown, and then footage aired of Paul Bearer debuting on the Brother Love show with The Undertaker and the guy who forgot Bobby Roode's contract was up. Yes, Bruce Pritchard. So they're showing footage of TNA contestants or competitors on WWE programming. Way to go, WWE! But I guess it's due to the tribute videos as they did through the entire night. That makes me feel much better about the opening segment. If that had been it all, then I would have been left with a bad taste in my mouth. There's still a good chance that we'll get the final shot of Undertaker and Kane paying tribute to Paul Bearer, and some good segments throughout the night. And as they end the show, they do the same. Match number 2, Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler with AJ, Big E, Langston. At 3 minutes 10 seconds in the match, Bryan set up for the suicide dive on the Dolph at ringside. Langston climbed onto the ring apron and stopped Bryan in his tracks. Commercial break. After the break, Bryan caught Ziggler with a series of kicks. Dolph ducked one, and then Bryan blasted him with a grand finale of the kicks. Later, both men stood on the top rope. Then Bryan went for a suplex, but Dolph twisted himself around and landed on top of Bryan for a good near fall. Down the stretch, Bryan went for the no lock, Borgasm lock. AJ distracted the referee, and Langston pulled Ziggler's leg onto the ropes so the ref could break the hold. A short time later, Ziggler hit the zigzag and got the 3 count. After the match, Dolph and AJ made out, kissing. AJ gave Langston a look, and then he hit his the big end and finisher on Bryan, and then left him lying. And then Dolph Ziggler pinned Daniel Bryan at 11 minutes 35-second match. Decent good match as a rare win for Ziggler. AJ seemed to be more relevant in this match than she has ever been in the recent weeks. The announcer set up a video package on Triple H challenging Brock Lesnar to a WrestleMania 29 match. And no Triple H tonight. Yes, a video package for a promo. The announcers hyped that Brock Lesnar would sponsor Triple H's challenge. As they go to commercial, after commercial breaks, the commercial come back on. Highlights aired from the old school Raw of the Honky Tonk Man segment. Brodus Clay, Sweet Tea now, as Tensai is called. Cameron and Naomi performed their ring entrance. Fandango was introduced as an opponent. He said he would not debut until Cameron and Naomi said his name right. He said they are better than this. Tensai tried to talk, but Fandango said he just cost everyone a chance to see a match. Announcers then spoke at ringside. Lawler actually performed a really good Fandango impersonation. Cole set up a video for G.I. Joe 2 featuring The Rock. The announcers hyped the New Age Outlaws versus Rhodes Scholars for after the break as they go to break. And another Paul Bearer video aired. The video showed Paul Bearer with Undertaker at WrestleMania 20 in 2004. Rhodes Scholars impersonated the New Age Outlaws entrance. Sandow said it was brought to viewers by taste and good form. Oh, you were not aware of this? Sandow said. Your posterior better contact someone at once. Cody delivered the fast-paced introduction for his team, and if you're not done with that, we have two words for you. You're welcome. Outlaws made their in-ring entrance, and Road Dogg said, "This one's for you, Percy," before performing their standard entrance routine. Match number 3, New Age Outlaws from DX versus Road Scholars. Road Dogg was in control early, but he got distracted by Sandow and 8 beautiful disaster kick. A minute into the match, Brock Lesnar's music played, and Road Scholars exited the ring, and New Age Outlaws fought to Road Scholars to an apparent no contest. Billy Gunn went after Lesnar as he got in the ring and as Lesnar tried to enter the ring, Lesnar plowed through him and dropped him with the F5. Road Dogg met the same fate as he was crawling to his feet and like worshiping him, and immediately got up and the F5 delivered to him, and Road Scholars exited the ring, where nowhere to be found. Heyman took the mic and said Triple H wants Brock to know that the game is on. Heyman said Lesnar doesn't play games, he hurts people. Heyman recalled Lesnar breaking the arm of Shawn Michaels and breaking Vince McMahon in half, to the point that Stephanie McMahon cried as Vince was lifted into an ambulance. Heyman said Lesnar now destroyed the last traces of DX. Heyman said everyone wants to know whether Lesnar will face Triple H at WrestleMania, and the answer is yes. Heyman said that there is a but. And I was laughing at this because Heyman's got a big butt. It's the walrus butt. Nobody's butt but his butt. Well, that was attached to that. Heyman said Lesnar will face Triple H at WrestleMania only if they get to pick the stipulation after Triple H signs the contract. That seems like a dumb deal. Heyman said Hunter either blindly signs the contract or he disappoints his wife, his children, his father-in-law, and most all himself. Heyman got down on one knee and looked at the Outlaws before saying, "And if you ain't down with that, I got 2 words for you. Brock Lesnar," as they go to commercial break. Everyone will claim that they saw that coming, but I got a lot of questions about whether the Outlaws would be at WrestleMania. But I am sure that Shawn Michaels will be at WrestleMania, but not presumably for a match. As he said like 2 weeks ago, he will be at WrestleMania. And the possibility of Brock attacking the Outlaws because they are Triple H's buddies, that was kind of a setup. And I know I didn't see it coming, but really enjoyed it. Heyman got his mic work in and was great again. And as Lesnar didn't say a damn thing, looking like a major league badass, doing his little dance, hopping up and down, the gay gimmick. Graphic touted that WWE Raw was the #1 show on cable television last Monday. Wow, what kind of competition do they have? The match number 4, Mark Henry versus Kofi Kingston. Henry dominated the match and took it to ringside. Henry charged at Kofi, who moved, causing Henry to run into the ring post. Kofi performed a springboard kick off the ring steps and tried to follow up with a top rope crossbody block. Back inside the ring, but Henry caught him and performed the world's strongest slam for the win. The match only took 2 minutes 25 seconds out of our lives. Backstage segment, Cody Rhodes was flirting with Caitlyn again. When Damian Sandow interrupted, he said Lesnar took away certain victory from them and arranged much more suitable companions. Sandow introduced the Bella Twins, who put their arms around Rhodes Scholars. I didn't see this segment. I don't think I've seen the rest of it because I went to the internet to upload the results for the previous night's TNA pay-per-view. And I did comment on some of Raw during the video as well. The Bella said that they are back back and not a moment too soon because the Divas division has never needed them more. Caitlyn stormed off. Vicky Guerrero showed up and said their double date would have to wait because she booked rose colors in a match against Sheamus and Randy Orton. And in that match I did not get to see either. Ryback made his entrance. The announcers set up a sneak peek of Big Show's appearance on Psych, which airs on Thursday night. Psych? On Thursday night? I thought it was Wednesday night. Well, as they go to commercial break. Well, my mistake, I guess. Since they have been advertising on Wednesday nights, Psych, at 9 p.m. Well, I guess it's now on Thursday nights to compete with Impact. Well, the Celebrity Hordes are back just in time for the Get All the Divas on the Card match at WrestleMania. Sandow has been hilarious throughout the show. Match number 5, Ryback versus Heath Slater with Jinder Mahal. Well, I was online on Ringside News trying to watch some of it, but I could not hear it because their computer in the office at the hotel was not working, so I'm sitting here watching some of it while I'm getting the spoilers for tonight's Raw, from tonight's Raw for Superstars and what have you. Well, back with this, and Mark Henry walked onto the stage and was watching the match. Slater used the distraction to get a few shots in on Slater. On Ryback. Ryback was destroyed him after that, as expected, and won the match with a shell shock. And the match only took a minute and 5 seconds, even with the distraction. After the match, Henry walked to the ring and performed Royal Song Slam on McIntyre. Ryback picked up McIntyre and performed shell shock on him. Well, seems like they're doing tag team match now. Henry picks up McIntyre and gave him the World Song of Slam. Another World Song of Slam. Henry and Ryback came face to face. Their eyes twinkled and they shared a long, passionate, they jawed at one another until referees came out and tended to McIntyre. I wonder if Slater or anybody else got any damage to him. Well, I'm all for no physicality between Ryback and Henry before WrestleMania, but that was a letdown. Plus, I was hoping for something a little more creative than a repeat bit. The announcers hyped Orton and Sheamus versus Rhodes Scholars, and CM Punk versus Kane in a no disqualification match. Alberto Del Rio and Ricardo Rodriguez were shown walking backstage. Coleslaw said Del Rio would face Antonio Cesaro after the break. And the announcers set up the trailer for the Call movie, again with Halle Berry. And the next match, and David Otunga's got a very small part in the movie, I think, from the trailers. He's nowhere in the trailer. Match number 6, World Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio with Ricardo Rodriguez versus U.S. Champion Antonio Cesaro in a non-title match. A pop-up video showed a smiling Del Rio saying, "I was born in Mexico, but made in America." Cesaro's high rats were back on after disappearing last week because it's old school Raw. He was just performing his old school type thing. Del Rio performed his horrible super kick while Cesaro was on his knees and got a 2 count at 3 minutes and 5 seconds of the match. Cesaro caught Del Rio with his uppercut coming off the ropes and got the usual 2 count out of it. Del Rio came back with a crossarm breaker for the win. And Alberto won the match in 4 minutes 35 seconds of non-title. Del Rio's cheesy smile during the promo left me wondering whether he's trying to get over with wrestling fans or running for office. Can I vote against him? Gee, I can't believe one of the secondary title belt holders lost in a champion versus champion match. Again. Backstage segment with Josh Matthews said to Kane, "This has to be a very troubling time for you, Kane." As he was holding the urn, he looked down at it and walked away without saying anything. And then the announcers hyped a preview of the WrestleMania main event for after the break. Then they showed a Paul Bearer video shown from 1997 when Paul Bearer introduced Kane. Awesome. At ringside, Lawler said he doesn't know if he's ever heard a bad word regarding Bearer from anyone in the industry, as Coleslaw shifted to the focus on the WrestleMania main event preview video. The WrestleMania video focused on Cena's supposed down year. And then they did show an image from TMZ regarding his divorce recently. The second part of the video focused on Rock winning the WWE Championship and showed footage of the two of them at WrestleMania and setting up their match on Raw. Randy Orton made his entrance for his tag match, commercial break. Cena's redemption story would be so much better if 2012 had been even half as gloomy as the video made it out to be. Even so, a strong video. And then they show highlights of Paul Heyman saying Brock Lesnar would only face Triple H if he signs the contract before they named the stipulation for the match. Didn't they do this just recently? Well, Stephanie McMahon's hair versus Paul Heyman's hair seems like a fair and balanced stipulation. Okay. Sheamus and Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow. The Rhodes Scholars team help. What can we call Randy Orton and Sheamus? Viper matchstick? The human matchstick on fire? The human Q-tip on fire? Viper's pit? Don't know. Anyways, that's probably a one-time deal anyway. Sheamus sold a lot before clotheslining Rhodes and making the tag to Orton. A short time later, Rhodes Scholars regained control of the match by running Orton into the ring post. Orton eventually made a hot tag to Sheamus and performed his signature moves on Sandow. Sheamus lost the crowd a bit with white noise, but he got them back as he set up for the Brogue Kick. Cody intervened, but Orton entered the ring and RKO'd him. Then Sheamus performed the Brogue Kick on Sandow for the win. Randy Orton and Sheamus defeated Cody Rhodes in an 8-minute match. Coleslaw Y2J hosting the highlight reel with Wade Barrett and The Miz after the break. As I told you, he was only going to be gone 2 weeks. He's on my Facebook friends list. And he said 3 weeks ago that he was only going to be gone 2 weeks for his little bitty tour. Well, David Otunga must be too busy appearing on some crappy Oprah network show to make the movie edition of the highlight reel. I'm more happy than ready for a Rhodes Scholars tag title run. Wait, didn't those two break up? I don't care. I don't even care. Rhodes and Sandow are great together. Well, they got to throw somebody together. Why not throw Sheamus and Orton? After the break, highlights aired of the Shield attacking Sheamus and Orton on the stage during a commercial break. So, way to go, WWE! Show some footage after you go to commercial. Okay. Announcer spoke about the Shield attack at ringside, and they shifted the focus to the Paul Bearer tributes. Lawler said that Paul was a great friend to everyone in the WWE and in the WWE universe. Coleslaw set up the fan touts regarding their favorite Bearer moments. And again, I have not seen none of this, as I was doing the regular. Okay, well, I guess after the break, well, I take that back. I did see that little segment on the Ringside News thing, and they said that went back to the ring to other news, and the fans were fans on there were normal. The first female fan was even cute. If you're reading it, if you're watching it, call me 651. Never mind, but that's not my number anyways. It's 318. Anyways, you can comment on any female fans. Chris Jericho headed to the ring and asked whether his jacket was working because they are very temperamental. And he sets up footage of the Miz in the Marine 3. There were lots of guns being fired. Miz never spoke, and the cameras jerked around like the Shield had just shown up. Jericho said he made his Geritron 6000 disappear. The crowd cheered. Jericho said that the movie looked awesome. His nose grew, and he introduced The Miz as his first guest. Miz noted the lack of a set, and Jericho said there were budget issues. Wade Barrett came out and said that his movie opened in the top 5. He set up a clip from Dead Man Down, in which it has beat The Rock's movie in the ratings so far. Miz mocked Barrett's accent. Barrett said Miz just showed his poor acting skills. Barrett said he's too busy being the Intercontinental Champion, so he turned down movie roles. And Miz gave him the reality treatment, and Barrett played along. Miz said Barrett keeps bringing up his movie because he hasn't won a match in weeks. Jericho chimed in with a really bit. How bad is this? Coleslaw asked on commentary. Barrett told Jericho to keep quiet before he drops him on the spot. Jericho took his jacket off and recalled bringing Barrett into the business and helping him win the first NXT. Jericho said Barrett is a 2-time Intercontinental Champion, whereas he is a 9-time Intercontinental Champion. Maybe I'll make it 10, Jericho said. Brad Maddox came out and told them to knock it off. Maddox introduces himself as a high-ranking executive of Raw. He announced that Barrett will defend his Intercontinental Champion live on Raw next week against the winner of a match between Jericho and The Miz. That will start now. The announcers beg to go to break. As they do go to commercial break, much like the relationship of the Percy Harvin and the Minnesota Vikings, that segment reached a point where it could be salvaged. The difference is that the highlight reel wasn't traded to a team within the damn conference. The Miz versus Jericho for an Intercontinental title shot. The match was already in progress. Jericho and The Miz fought to ringside, where Miz was accidentally thrown into Barrett, who was sitting on commentary. Barrett got upset and attacked them both to end the match. So I wonder if it's a double disqualification. Jericho and Miz rolled Barrett inside the ring, where Miz hit the skull crushing finale and Jericho hit the code breaker on Barrett. Jericho's music played to end the segment. The announcer said Barrett didn't want to face either man. Jericho fought The Miz to an apparent no contest. If only Raw could be 4 hours each week, I assume we'll get a Triple H a triple threat match next week. Coleslaw and the King set up footage of Ricardo Rodriguez and Alberto Del Rio impersonating Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger. The video originally aired on SmackDown. I did catch this little segment. I couldn't catch the sound on it, so it didn't make any understanding. And you can tell which one is which and what have you, because one is a lot taller and one's a lot smaller. An angry Swagger and Coulter were shown walking backstage. Okay, the video actually originally aired on SmackDown, and I did not see SmackDown, so not much I can tell you from that. Because you actually can see the wig that was supposedly Swagger's, looked like an Indian standoff. And back from their commercial break, Paul Bearer tribute video showed him in drag, and then Mr. Fuji in drag. Yeah, you had to see it. I guess Michael Cole announced that Kmart shoppers who buy $30 worth of WWE gear can get a WrestleMania 29 chair for $79.99. Yeah. No, you can sit on the faces of John Cena, The Rock, and Brock Lesnar for the low price of $109.99. I knew this one chick. Never mind. Again. Sin Cara was standing in the ring when Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter made their entrance. Coulter and Sin Cara didn't have the decency and respect to learn the language. He said that the fans are programmed to cheer him because he has a nice entrance and he bounces around the ring like a nice little Mexican jumping bean. Well, Coulter called for the fans to agree with him and receive boos. He called Sin Cara a thief because every night somewhere there's a Sin Cara. with a little band of amigos sneaking across the border trying to take something from an American. Coulter said that the fans are responsible because they don't say or do anything about it. Coulter said Del Rio said he was born in Mexico but made in America. He said Del Rio made everyone aware of how many things need to change in our country. There were growing boring chants when Swagger took the mic and said he would take the World Heavyweight Championship back where it belongs. So we get match number 9, Jack Swagger with Zeb Coulter versus Sin Cara. Well, I saw some of this match. Like about a minute, maybe. Sin Cara was on offense whenever I seen some of it. Well, Coleslaw noted that Vicky Guerrero booked Wade Barrett versus Chris Jericho versus The Miz in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title for next week's Raw. So there's 2 matches already set for Raw for next week. Sin Cara got some early offense. Swagger came back and beat him with a Patriot lock. The match only took a minute and 50 seconds. Well, I get a small half of that match. After the match, Swagger didn't release the hold, so Alberto Del Rio ran out for the save. Del Rio locked Swagger in a cross-arm breaker, but Coulter pulled Swagger to ringside. Del Rio stood on and yelled in front of the WrestleMania sign. Coleslaw sets up a video that featured an interview with Halle Berry about the movie The Call. She received a phone call from David Otunga who said she gave out her cell phone number to someone who threatened him with physical harm. After Otunga hung up the phone, Kane called her and said he knows where she lives. He asked why she never returned her fan mail. She figured out that it was a crazy guy in the red mask. She said he wrote that his home address is the depths of hell. He said that when kids write to Santa Claus at the North Pole, this is the opposite. He questioned whether this means they're not going on a picnic. And the announcers hyped the Kane versus Punk match. So I guess this was a melee segment off of the actual movie. After all, it is called The Call. That wasn't exactly a great placement considering that Kane is finally acting serious. Heading into the main event, I get a kick out of Kane's silliness at times. And he had a couple of funny lines. Wake me when this Raw is over. That's why I didn't watch much of it, because I was getting some of the results. Highlights there, the break of Kane trying to chokeslam CM Punk off the stage earlier in the show. The announcers hyped Ryback versus Mark Henry for Friday SmackDown. Yep, they actually get a match on SmackDown. I thought there was no compete thing. Ring introductions for the main event took place. No, not a live coverage typo. They are really advertising Ryback versus Mark Henry for SmackDown. My guess is that something prevents it from happening so that they can save it for WrestleMania 29. As they go past the 10 o'clock hour in my area, CM Punk versus Kane in a no disqualification match. It actually was like 5 minutes before the hour going off. Kane makes his entrance and brought the urn with him. Kane set the urn down and on a stand near the announcer's table. I didn't see much of this. All I saw was the choke slam and the pinfall from Kane. And the finish of the show. He looked at the urn and backed away. Punk dove onto Kane at ringside and the match starts. Punk and Kane fought on the floor in front of the urn with Coleslaw, noting that the symbol of the power and strength for Undertaker and Kane. Punk and Kane rolled inside the ring and Punk targeted Kane's knee with kicks. Punk caught Kane with a high knee in the corner. He went for the bulldog, but Kane avoided it and threw Punk over the top rope. Coleslaw said that we're headed to overtime and they had to take their last commercial break. Back for the break during an overrun? Yeah, because the usual 3 hours and change just isn't enough for time for Raw. The brawling continued after the break, and Kane threw a bunch of chairs inside the ring. Kane sets up a chokeslam onto one of the chairs, but Punk slipped out and countered with a DDT for a good near fall of his own. Punk signaled for DTS as the gong sounds for The Undertaker. Punk turned and looked to the stage, then turned around and walked into a chokeslam, and the match is over. Pinfall took 12. The match took about 12 minutes. Undertaker's music did play again, and he walked onto the stage. Taker knelt down and held up his hand, while Paul Bearer Memorial on the back logo appeared on the screen behind him. Kane struck the same pose, holding the urn. Suddenly, Punk, that's right, Punk had the urn and come from behind and hits him as he's posing with the urn. Posing with the hand up in the air just like Undertaker does. And as Punk is heading up the ramp, Taker is heading in the ring. Punk heads up the ramp with the urn. What is wrong with him? Lawler said. That is not his property. Punk knelt down and struck the Undertaker's pose while holding the urn. Taker made the throat slashing gesture as the crowd cheered. Punk was smiling and still striking the pose as the show closed as they go off air. It was odd to see Punk lose as he heads into a match where most fans viewed him as a heavy underdog, but the appeal of the match for some viewers is as much about them wanting to see Taker get his hands on Punk as it is about the streak. I would have preferred they didn't drag Paul Bearer into this, but there are multiple reports that his son was flown there for the show. If they are comfortable with everything that happened, then I can certainly accept it. And let's okay. Where was I at? If they are comfortable with everything, then I can certainly accept it. Let's hope this was and is. It turns out to be the weakest show of WrestleMania season. It has to be. It has had moments, but there were few and far between. I found myself waiting for the show to end more than eagerly anticipated the main event. The lack of Rock, John Cena, and Triple H this week may pay off as their next appearance will feel more important. And that ends my show for this week. Thanks again. Peace out.